Thanks to the success of many of these food delivery platforms such as Swiggy and Zomato, many people are getting into restaurant businesses. However, when it comes to a restaurant business, there is one big catch which is often not considered, which is that the amount of time available on a daily basis, which also translates into the number of customers available on a daily basis, can be limited. This would mean that the most important thing to be done by any restaurant at an outlet level would be maximization of profit. So here are 3 KPIs which are super critical but often overlooked by restaurant owners. Make sure you wait for the first one because it is super critical and very unusual. Hi, I'm Yashwanthnijagal, a chartered accountant in practice. I make videos on finance, compliances and taxation which will help businesses grow their financial health. Many of us, we start a restaurant business, put in a lot of money in terms of capital investment and of course the working capital. Things go on, but the sales don't happen as expected. 2 to 3 months pass by and then we start doubting whether this was the right idea. Rather than doing this, it is best if we know what exactly to look out for, which is the break-even point. Now, what a break-even point means is that this is the minimum amount of sales that you need to achieve if you have to be in a no profit, no loss situation. Now, for any restaurant business, I think this should be the first milestone that one should look forward to. So how do you arrive at this break-even sales? It is actually pretty straightforward. Now on one hand, you have your fixed expenses, which could be your salaries or rent or marketing expenses. And on the other hand, you have your gross profit, which is basically sales less variable expenses, such as your electricity bill or water bill or your purchases or cost of goods sold. Now if you divide this fixed expenses by the gross profit, this will give you the break-even sales. Now that you have the break-even sales, it is very easy for you to predict the amount of working capital that is required. If you say that 6 months is the time that I would need to achieve the break-even sales, 6 months of working capital is something that you should be ready with when you start the business. This way, you will not have any surprises, nor will you be disheartened with the additional cash outflow. In a restaurant business, more number of people in your restaurant does not necessarily mean you will have more revenue. For example, if you have a cafe near a college, most of the time you will have at least 5 to 6 students sitting in each table, sitting for long hours, but they have been ordering only 2 to 3 cups of coffee. This would mean that the table has been occupied for 3 hours, but the revenue generated out of it is only worth 3 cups of coffee. Now, to get the actual picture, what you can do is track something called as spend per head. This can be arrived at by dividing total revenue per day and total number of customers per day. This will give you a clear picture of how much money each customer is spending on a daily basis. I can think of 2 ways in which a business can use this metric. One is that you can decide on the pricing of your products or services depending on this spend per head. The second is this can also help you in deciding how much money you will have to spend on marketing or customer acquisition. Finally, the first and the most important KPI, which is super important and unfortunately the most often overlooked KPI, is the wastage ratio. This is obviously very specific to the restaurant industry. So what I mean by food wastage is 1, spoilage on account of expired products, 2, excessive prepared food on account of overestimation of customers, and 3, of course, accidental damage or spillage of food products. And now how do we calculate the food wastage ratio? On one hand, you will have the value of food that gets wasted on a daily or monthly basis, and on the other, you will have the cost of total goods that are consumed on a daily or monthly basis. Then you divide these two and you will have the wastage ratio. And this ratio can help you in 2 ways. One is that you can think of optimizing your overall operations in order to reduce the amount of wastage that is being incurred in your business. And the second, if you feel that you are already at the most optimum level, then this particular wastage cost can be included in your list of total costs so that you can plan your product pricing better. In the F&B industry, it is important to note that scaling up at beyond a particular level is not possible because there is a time limitation on a daily basis. This also means that you will have only X number of customers a day. So what's most important is to ensure that there is maximization of profit. The best way to do it is through KPIs. Many of the KPIs are easily available. Some of it might require additional efforts to track, but make sure that you are tracking these KPIs to ensure maximization of profits.